Chapter 1 Ancient Scriptures. Ptolemy, Philadelphia, 309 to 246 BC, ruler of Egypt, was learned man. He offered a rich reward for the best religious scrolls and manuscripts for his great library. Impelled by a desire for this reward, wise men of many nations went to Alexandria with their precious writings, and Ptolemy secured some 280 scrolls and manuscripts of the most valuable writings in the world. In comparing the various works, Ptolemy made the most startling discovery of the age. To his amazement, he found that all systems of religion were the same in basic principles. How could it have been otherwise? All men spring from the same source, they all inhabit the same universe, in which all elements and forces, all suns and stars, all mountains and men, all water and women, are basically the same. Churchward said that inscriptions on stone tablets found all over the world indicate that all the earth was originally colonized by one people, from one source, and that was the lost continent of Mu or Lemuria. Furthermore, the evidence shows that all religious systems are but copies of the original system, and vary in different countries only as the customs of the people vary. So all ancient religions, based on this grand cosmic unity, were basically the same for all nations and for all races, one grand, harmonious system of worship. And Ptolemy had inscribed over the doorway of his chief temple this sentence: "Experience is the guide of all morality." The evidence shows that this grand unity of religion prevailed in principle through the ages until the 4th century AD. Then there came a shocking change under the leadership of Constantine the Great, in his funding of the Roman State Church. Then the fathers of the church went into vigorous action for the success of their newly created institution, and for the suppression of all competition. To Alexandria they went, and culled what they wanted from Ptolemy's vast library of scrolls and manuscripts. They copied, interpolated, twisted and distorted these ancient writings for the making of their Bible. To make their work more effective, they personalized the ancient symbols and literalized the ancient allegories. Under their scheming hands, startling charges occurred. The Son of the universe became the only begotten Son of God. J.N. 3:16. The 12 signs of the ancient zodiac became the 12 apostles of their gospel. Jesus. Utetium. 6:13. The redemption of man became a blood-washing process, in which all sorts of criminals and murderers were cleansed of their sins by their belief in a crucified Savior. MK. 16:16. Rev. 1:5. To aid in the promotion of the new religion, Constantine issued an edict freeing all criminals and slaves upon condition that they embrace the new religion. This was only the beginning of the atrocious work. For 1,000 years the people of Europe were to witness to suffer the most horrible catastrophe ever recorded in the annals of history. Read the Holy Inquisition and the Bible, Church and God by W. McCarthy. To enforce this newly invented, unscientific and preposterous religion upon the masses of the Roman world, required the destruction of ancient literature and ancient history, the burning of manuscripts and libraries, the demolition of ancient temples, the slaughter of more than 70 million people, and the plunging of the Roman Empire into a state of intellectual darkness that lasted more than 1,000 years. Then ancient history was rewritten by the Church, to serve its ends and to hide the facts, and that is the history contained in modern encyclopedias. That worldwide crime could not forever be concealed. Fragments and traces of the grand unity of ancient religion were preserved by inscriptions on stone monuments and temples of all nations, and in symbols and allegory which could be interpreted only by initiates of the ancient mysteries. Creative power in all ages. The most awe-inspiring attribute in the universe is the creative power. The mysteries of life hold no greater secret than that of procreation. That power naturally inheres in all living things in all kingdoms of existence. In every age, this deepest mystery of life attracted the attention of the great philosophers and scientists. The key to the secret of life, opined they, lay in the creative function. It could be nowhere else. The cosmic principle of creation of humanity inheres in the creative centers of man for creative action, and that action determines man's status in life. Accordingly, a study of the creative function was, with the ancient masters, scientific in intent and pure in purpose. In their scientific and exalted state of mind, they regarded as most sacred and most vital that part of man possessing the mysterious power of creation. In possessing that cosmic power, man is a creator in his own right. He is an independent creature. He is the God of his own being and existence. He has in himself the power of propagation and perpetuity. He can never become extinct, for he is within himself the power to go on forever. Nor was that magic power given to man, or bestowed upon him by some imaginary god. It is an inherent part of him, of his very being, and cannot be given to him nor taken from him. The creative power in man is as eternal as the shining sun, the father of all creation. The Christian Bible, we have said that the Bible was compiled from the writings of the ancient wise men. Such writings did not treat of an anthropomorphic God nor the fabulous heaven. It dealt with the great mystery of life, man, and his creative powers. The Bible was not prepared for the masses, but for the church. It was not prepared to enlighten the masses, but to enslave the masses. And that job has been well done. Through greedy political influence and the ultimate dominance by a selfish and mercenary priesthood, the doctrine of the ancient masters was gradually discarded and debased, and in the succeeding centuries a system of dogmatic theology was formulated and developed from a literal interpretation, the dead letter, of the ancient symbols and allegories, being corrupted by spurious interpolations and aciditious distortions, many of which are so obvious and glaring that a sixth-grade student can detect them. These interpolations and distortions so badly cloud and obscure the context of the Bible, that it is a common saying, nobody can understand the Bible. The reason is clear, a literal interpretation of the Bible does not make sense. Another reason why it is difficult to grasp the correct meaning of the context of the Bible is the fact that slight changes creep into the meaning of words and phrases from age to age, and in the course of 2,000 or 3,000 years, these changes become so great that a literal translation of ancient literature would leave us in darkness as to the original meaning. There is still another factor too important to be disregarded. The contents of the Bible were translated from foreign languages unknown to us, and it is impossible to translate one language to another by a mere change of words. The best that can be done is to express the sense and meaning of another language, that is, to interpret, explain, or recapitulate. At this point grave danger enters in the work of translation. It puts in the hands of the translator the power to express, in his own way and according to his own views, bias and prejudice, the sense and meaning of the material he is translating, and we take what the translator gives us. The ancient scriptures were translated by a group of men who were preparing to make their Bible teach what they wanted it to teach, what they were instructed to have it teach. That they tried to do and that they did do, and that is the reason why the result of their work is such a maze of puzzling pictures, that nobody can understand the Bible. And so the ways of heaven are dark and intricate, puzzled with mazes, and perplexed with error. Addison. The best that any man can do, in his search for the secret of the science of the ancient masters, is to select such parts of the arcane doctrine in the Bible as are cautiously unveiled, and then, in a consistent and steadfast course, trace them down to their logical conclusions. The Edenic Garden, the masters studied man as a creative being. Their motto was, "Man, know thyself, and thou wilt know the universe and the gods." That was their message to man, inscribed on the walls of their temples. In their work the masters discovered profound secrets regarding the creative functions of the human body. These secrets became a sacred science, and were concealed from those who were morally unworthy to receive it. For the power which its possession confers would be destructive to them and injurious to their fellow man. Details of this power we have noticed more in detail in our work titled The Magic Wand and the Kingdom of Heaven. It is sufficient here to state that within herself woman contains all the universes, systems, planets and globes. Man is the microcosm of the macrocosm. He is the epitome of all worlds and all powers. He is the focusing and condensing point of countless electromagnetic currents which, in energizing, become what may be called the living, conscious, vital electricity, of incredible voltage, but hardly comparable to the form of electricity known to physicists as condensed and refined in the laboratory of the human body. This vital electricity is so powerful that, when not controlled, it can burn one to death, figuratively speaking, and that is exactly what it is doing today. It is consuming the masses by inches and degrees. This magic power is variously symbolized in the Bible, and in one place is mentioned as the bush that burned with fire, but was not consumed. Example 3:2, Acts 7:30. This powerful force is a double-edged sword that cuts both ways. It exalts or degrades, improves or destroys, depending on the conditions. If activated unnaturally without the power to control it, it would give its deadly sting to him in whom it was so unwisely awakened. That is the main reason why secrecy was always maintained regarding the sacred science. The mysterious tree we meet up with the sacred science in the esoteric passage. Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. General 2:16-17. First, we must realize that we are dealing with ancient symbology and allegory. It is obvious that the subject here is man. The garden represents man's body, called the temple of God, and the care thereof was the great lesson of life with the ancient masters. The allegory deals with the care of the body. The trees symbolized the parts and processes of the body, with one vital exception. Not only is man told these things, but he is definitely warned as to what the penalty or consequences will be if he uses that one accepted vital function. The nature of that accepted function is revealed in the phrase knowledge of good and evil. Here then, thinly veiled, is presented the very core and center of the secret science of the ancient masters. It is therefore proper, consistent and scientific in our search for the esoteric knowledge contained in the ancient science, that we notice, consider and capitalize that one vital exception and then to proceed in our processes in a direct manner through infinite time to infinite results, discarding and rejecting all irrelevant, inconsistent, and immaterial statements and passages in the Bible, most of which are the result of spurious interpolations and aciditious distortions. For in no other way can we be certain of reaching our legitimate goal. The student, who follows this discussion closely, will no longer be one of those puzzled persons who do not understand the Bible. Good and evil in the day ye eat thereof. Then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Gen. 3:5. Watch a group of little boys and girls at play. Their mind is free of carnal lust, their sexual consciousness is dormant, eyes not yet opened, and they know not God and evil. For them there is as yet no evil to mar their happiness and joy, and they are perfect, as the angels in heaven, who neither marry nor are given in marriage. MK 12:25. There's nothing good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. Little children are as the angels in heaven, because thoughts of God and evil have not yet entered their angelic mind. Puberty now comes to change. Puberty literally means that time in man's life when physical development causes hair to appear on the external genitalia. It is that time marked by the awakening of sexual consciousness, impelling the mind to recognize the existence of good and evil. Watch a group of boys and girls at this time. Notice the marked change in conduct. 1. After they have reached puberty, and 2. Sexual consciousness has opened their eyes, and 3. The carnal mind becomes active. No more are these children as the angels in heaven. Sexual consciousness is no longer dormant in their brain. Their eyes are opened. They have come to know good and evil. From this time on, most of them will life on the animalistic plan and become slaves of the carnal mind. Matters are made worse by the carnal conduct of parents. Sexual consciousness awakens early in many children and is exceedingly powerful because mothers indulge sexually during the gustatory period. The crime that is against unborn children, and an evil never committed by any animal below man,